Thanks, Chair. I think in response to original questioning from Senator Rice, you mentioned, Mr Learmonth, that the CFC exists because the market is failing. What particular market failures were you referring to?
Well, let me just put it another way. I mean, the CFC is there to play a role where there are gaps in the market, make projects happen that might not otherwise happen. And we use our capital in that way to be it off, taking risks that maybe other financiers or investors may not want to take, offering debt terms that will get a project over the line. So, as these technologies evolve, increasingly the banks and institutional capital is starting to come into the market, which is something that we're encouraging. For every dollar that we put out the door, there's something like $2.2 of private sector capital that's come alongside it. So, we sort of are constantly looking to play a role where market gaps exist, and it's very important that we continue to do that.
So, do you want to withdraw your previous comment that you think the market is failing? Because you know that market failure means something specific.
We're by definition, if we're filling in a gap or we're trying to sort of assist where there is market failure, not all markets are failing, but there are often situations where there might be, you look at when we started off in the solar PV, grid scale PV market, there were very few financiers interested in investing in that market. We alongside ARENA came in and really stimulated that market. We as a financier, ARENA as a grant maker. The supply chain in Australia improved, the prices came down for solar panels, for EPC contractors and so on.
But what was the market failure? It's a specific term. If you say that there is a market failure, you are presumably referring to...
Well, I think the failure in the sense that there was a lack of financiers willing to invest in that market at the time. So
lack of financiers willing to finance a particular market is not a market failure. You presumably know that. Right now, there are no financiers providing me with millions of dollars to invent the next pencil. There is a gap. That doesn't mean there's a market failure. It is a terrible investment to give me millions of dollars to invest in the next pencil. I've got no idea about what the next pencil could be. So, do you hold by the view that you know of market failures that you're currently addressing? And if so,
I think we've probably got different interpretations of what a market failure might mean. In our minds, a market failure does include, a lack of willing investors. That's it probably sounds like it's coming down to that.
Okay, so it comes down to the idea that market failure actually does mean something. Do you believe that you are currently addressing information asymmetries, for instance? That is a recognised market failure.
We are, a part of what we do is share knowledge and learnings throughout the markets and the various markets that we operate in, because we've done a lot of transactions, we've seen a lot of things. So, in the sense that our knowledge and experience and assisting other market participants become aware of that and helping them develop and stimulate markets, yes.
Do you believe that you are addressing issues of monopoly? That's another market failure you could possibly be addressing.
I don't, we don't have addressing monopolies necessarily as on our list of things that we're trying to tackle. We're trying to decarbonise the Australian economy by using debt and equity in companies and projects and so on.
Okay. You also said, I think, in response to Senator Rice, that you are crowding in. What specifically do you mean by that?
Well, that's where we might play a role in say, a project, a clean energy project, for example, where we might be a lender in that project, the first one to commit to it, which then gives confidence to other financiers to come in. We might play a role in a capital structure that make the numbers work. For example, provide some subordinated debt or some mezzanine finance that will then allow the private sector investors for that project to become economic. So there's a couple of examples of how we might
Do you
crowd
recognise that
investors.
that is not the meaning of crowding in economic terms?
Might once again be a disagreement on definitions, Senator. I mean, if we can, cornerstone a particular issuance of a green bond, or if we can provide a particular debt term, as in tenor of a debt facility that brings in other investors, that to us is crowding in.
Okay.